That means Greek knew about it. Greek knew about the sacrum bone. Otherwise they would not have called it a sacrum, means sacred. Even when I went to Athens, I was surprised that Athena, the word Atha, comes from Sanskrit, means primordial. And she had a snake-like thing in her hand with all the chakras. So the Greeks knew about it. And when I talked to them, they told me that it is a fact that Indians came much before Alexander. We had rapport with Indians much before Alexander. And they told us about the primordial mother and her 3 powers. It is very amazing how they knew all about it. And then it all got lost because of the extroversion moving out from reality. So this bone, sacrum bone, contains, or here resides the kundalini in 3.5 coil. This is the power of our pure desire. The pure desire is the desire when it is manifested should give you full satisfaction. For example, some people seek it in power. They indulge in power, some seek it in possession, some seek it in other things. But all these seekings do not give them satisfaction. If they could give satisfaction, then there would have been no problem. Because once you buy a car, then you want to buy something else, and then you want to buy something else. You start moving from one to another, and as economics says that in particular a want is satiable, but not in general. So we have to understand that the wants that we have, the desires we have, are not pure desires, but are impure desires. And when we deal with them, we never get that satisfaction. For example, somebody wants to do something. He does it, but he doesn't get any satisfaction out of it. The only way you can get satisfaction is that you become one with the divine. And this power of desire, which is a pure desire, is residing in each and everybody's triangular bone. But we are lost. We are seeking our pleasures, our joys into wrong things. We think that by doing this or by doing that, by buying this or becoming that, we'll be completely, fully satisfied, which we ultimately discover. In an evolutionary state, such people, when they discover that the joy is not in all these things, there is no happiness in this kind of thing. We have to go beyond this. Once they discover this, then they become a special category of people. And these special category of people are the seekers. Of course, today I find so many seekers are lost. Especially in America, they are lost in various ways. We would say in all the cults or in all other things like drugs or homosexuality or whatever you may call it. They are lost into these, into violence. Many are indulging into violence or doing all kinds of things which are not for their ascent but are degrading and will take them down, not to their seeking but to their hell. But it is happening today. You can see it very clearly. It is happening because human beings do not understand that human awareness is a transitory phase. You have to go beyond it, and that beyond stage, the stage we have to reach, is the stage of yourself. To begin with, you have to become, first of all, self-realized, meaning you are to be born again. And to be born again, you have to allow the kundalini to work it out. So what do we do? As people said, I told you yesterday, it is effortless, it is without any money. It just happens spontaneously. Now it happens that an enlightened light can enlighten another light. In the same way, I may be able to enlighten you, but you can enlighten many others. Like in India, we have someone who has enlightened 10,000 people and has done so much good to people that it is amazing. Even there are people like the President of India, we can say the President of the High Court Judge of the Hague High Court, which is the World High Court, the president of that, he's got his realization and he's a Sahaja. So we have people of that caliber who are Sahajogis and who have felt the vibrations, who have become self-realized. But they are very humble people. Ourselves. We don't need much in that country to cover ourselves or to have any elaboration. So the attention has been always inside to find out why are we here, what are we doing here, are we wasting our life, are we doing any harm to ourselves or to others, is it all right to exist as human beings, or is there anything beyond? This search has been there for thousands and thousands of years, and because of this seeking, they have been able to reach right conclusions that there is this kundalini within us, and this kundalini is to be awakened, and if she is awakened, then you can become self very easily. And this was the job I had to do. For that, I had to work very hard for days together to understand what was the problem with human beings, the permutations and combinations of problems that they have. And somehow I managed it. I think now mass realization is possible. Yesterday, despite some people being mischievous, you did get realization. This is God's work, and God's work will go on. Whether some people come and trouble you makes no difference. They are just like mosquitoes. They come and go away. Has no meaning at all. Because you see, God's work is much greater than what they think of themselves. So it doesn't matter what happens or what people say or talk. The God's work will go on. But you must know it's a living work. It is not a plastic thing. You can produce thousands of plastic flowers very easily, but you cannot produce one single living flower. So when this living force has to act, it takes time. And it will take time, gradually it will grow, and you will be surprised that gradually it grows so beautifully that suddenly you find lots of people coming up and becoming. Because in Sahaja Yoga, what you become is important. It's the actualization. It is not some certificate or some organization that you belong to some organization or there is some certificate. But it is what you become. Your becoming is important. If you cannot become something, then you are no good in Sahaja Yoga. Many people who come to us, we find they improve a lot and they become very great also. But some people do not. They just waste it. Energy is all wasted, whatever you may try, they do not. Sometimes they are so conditioned that we cannot improve them. There we feel helpless about them because they do not want to cooperate also. And also they have many pressures on them. But 90% people go up very well and they manifest whatever they have achieved. Now the main thing is to understand that this mechanism exists within us. This energy exists within us. Now this is like a hypothesis for you. We need not accept it. It's an hypothesis, as one would put to a scientist. But scientists must have an open mind. They shouldn't have a closed mind. If they have a barrier, you cannot put anything before them. If they are scientists, they will have an open mind to listen to my hypothesis. And if it could be proved, then you have to accept it. If it is doesn't prove, then you can say that, all right, that's not proved so far, all right. So you have to wait and have patience with it. This is what it is in simple words, that it cannot be forced on. It cannot be humble before. You have to ask for it. Nobody can force you that you can become. I cannot guarantee, yesterday I said, it's a fact. But still so many people got their realization, felt the cool breeze and felt the cool breeze out of their head. This you cannot do otherwise. All other things you can do, but this you cannot do, is to take out cool breeze out of your head, which is a factual thing and experience. But as I told you, that we live mentally much more than we live with reality. And mental projections can be anything, like a person who murders someone. He has a justification, I murdered someone because of this and this. But that justification does not allow you to get out of law, does it? No. You will be caught in the law. You cannot do it. Whatever is wrong, you are not supposed to do it. But that is human law. In the same way there is God's laws. And if we go against God's laws, then what happens? That we are punished. Now today I am going to tell you about other awareness that one can have, that one should know about. I am talking about the super consciousness which is on top of our head. But when the attention moves to the left side too much or to the right side too much, then also there could be a very, very big problem. And the big problem can come because we are not knowledgeable about it. We do not know. What is unknown need not be divine, not at all. Now when you start, say, becoming extremely submissive, slavish, or you start following something very blindly, you start becoming fanatic about it, just without thinking what you are doing is not right or wrong. You just follow something like that. We call it the left side movement of the attention starts, where you start subduing yourself to something, subjecting yourself to something. Accept the slavery of some ideas. Accept the conditioning of some sort of theories. Now once you start accepting such theories, mentally the attention starts moving towards the left side. And also some people have a capacity to possess you like that. They can possess you and can do like that, that you lose all your freedom and you become that kind of a person. Then at that time what happens, that you start moving from your conscious mind to the subconscious mind and then to the collective subconscious. If you move to the collective subconscious, then what happens to you? If you move to the collective subconscious, then a person becomes possessed. This possession comes to you through what we call the protein 52 or protein 58 in medical terminology. They say that if a person is vulnerable to cancer, it is triggered by the presence or entrance of protein 52 or protein 58. These are the names the doctors are given, which trigger the disease. And once that happens, then a person cannot get out of cancer, because then the triggering starts and he starts getting from bad to worse. This 52 and 58, where do you find it? According to doctors, you find 52 and 58 in the area which is built within us since our creation. This area is placed within us. On the left hand side, as you see, somebody can come and show. On the left hand side, this area is placed. And this area, one enters very easily. Say you go on taking somebody's name. Nowadays it's a fashion to give you a mantra. Now start getting the mantras, going saying mantras. Now what happens? That you are not connected with the divine. And you start taking the name of some XYZ. So you are not connected and you are just pressing hard your mind to get connected. But it cannot, because the kundalini has not arisen. So you move to the left side. And there you get caught up. And that's why you know in the cult people are so much mesmerized. In every cult people get mesmerized because they move to the left for the domination of these gurus and things, because they want to make money out of them, and then they cannot think of anything else. They just think this is the right thing. I was amazed at some of the cults. The gurus don't know even Sanskrit language. Some of them have come out of the jail and they have become gurus. And they have given mantras which are so funny that somebody has been given mantra of Inga. There's no word like Inga except for this word in a colloquial way is called Inga, when a spider or something, you can say a